Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
England! England!
Looking back through the years, we can't hold back the tears and the fears. We gotta be what we can be, 'cause we can write a new history, yeah. So we on Kane, Sterling, we believe we wear the lions high on our sleeves. So we are England through and through. Come on, England, we love you.
Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
And now, here's your host.
Right, Chris.
All right, good evening. Welcome along again for the second show of the evening. You'll be pleased to know that me and Lou, neither of us have resigned. And as far as I know, neither of us are planning. Well, I'm not planning on it. I hope Lou's not. But of course, today anything can happen. Also, congratulations to Norrie reaching the semi-final of Wimbledon, the men's singles. Well done, mate. Is it just me? Whenever I watch that intro that I've just done, I always think, what a waste of beer. I don't know. And then my second thought is, glad I'm not working there because everybody's coming up for another pint now. But we are going to be looking at the Women's Euros, which is taking part starting tomorrow, in fact, over here in the good old England. And all I would ask you to do, a couple of things for me. First of all, if you could do that, if you do what it says there, subscribe, smash the likes and click the notifications. We're doing a load of watch-alongs for it, so you never want to miss one. Click the notifications. That would be absolutely brilliant. And again, I ask you this now often, if you can support the companies that support us, it is much appreciated. And these are those companies.
Leicester lead again! The goals are flowing here now!
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open.
For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise,
Visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
Indeed, they all support the channel. Free Retro, especially with the Women's Euros, for your, well, whether you want club or country. I mean, this is one of 3 Retro shirts. They are proper ones. Admiral, do you remember Admiral? I used to love the Admiral shirts. That was the old, the England. I've got one. It's where it's red. Paul Mariner, I remember scoring when Bobby Robson. Yeah, the guy from Manchester United. He scored about after 2 minutes against France in the World Cup. It was Bobby Robson, wasn't it? I think that's the tops they were wearing. I absolutely love them, and they were Admiral as well. Mike, good evening. He's very much excited for this tournament for the right reasons. I hope young Michael, you've got a girlfriend now. And as he said, also congratulations to Cam at Norrie. Indeed, sir, well done to him. And James Dunlop, good evening. Welcome back for coming. At least if Cam Norris gets through to the final, of course, he will be English. And of course, now that obviously Murray isn't winning, he's Scottish. When he won it, he was British, but of course now he's Scottish. Let's welcome my co-host in. Lou, you've not resigned, have you? You're still with us?
No, I'm still with you for the time being anyway. At least until January.
Depends whether I lie about any past relationships or not. That's what
exactly.
It is. I don't think I'm going to anyway. But yeah, what I'm looking forward to this as well. And I've slowly grown into women's football. I mean, obviously Leicester getting promoted to the Premier League was a big plus. doing the Great Escape, if you like, was a bonus. We've got it next season. The manager is Louise. Is it Louise Bedford?
Yeah.
Yeah, she signed a new extension to a contract, so it's all going well for the Leicester team. But just generally, I've been watching the women play. They've had a couple of friendlies recently, and I tell you what, they put the men to shame.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're playing a different game in many ways, because obviously the money in the women's game is just not there. And sometimes I'm kind of glad of that, because it does mean that these players are playing because they want to play. They want to play for their country. They're passionate about playing for their country, and they need to be given the same respect, if not more respect, than the men's side, because the men, they don't get paid for playing for England, but obviously the sponsorships and everything else they get that come with it make up for not getting paid. And the women, you know, like I say, they're so passionate about playing football. You know, some of the things that they've had to go through to play football. I mean, it's very different now to when these players were kind of young girls. They had to play in boys' teams. There was no kind of path for them to get to the England squad. Now that's different, and that's changed, and that can only be, you know, for the good.
Yeah, and like I say, it is getting more coverage. It needed, you know, a TV channel of some sort to come in and give it that coverage for it to sort of expand, if you like. And I mean, I pull Sky to bits a lot, obviously, with all their Big Six and their coverage of the men's game. But what I like that they've done is they've not given the sort of, you know, when they're doing the transfer windows, for example, there's not a separate one for the women and a separate one for the men. It's all on the same page, and that's what it should be like.
Yeah, I agree. The men's game and the men's players, the managers have all got a hand in the women's game, because they're the ones that can promote it.
Yes.
And, you know, the fact that all the top clubs in the Premier League have got women's sides. Man City's team play at the Etihad. They don't have a separate stadium. You know, they put all the teams under that one Man City banner. And that can only, like I say, be good for the women's game and football in general. The more people you get involved in football, the more people fall in love with it, the better that is for both sides.
Of course it is, of course. And I'm just looking here, and I can't, which is typical, because like I said, I had a few technical problems. Let me just scroll down. And now it's refusing to show me. But I was just looking at some of, I want to say good evening to Kate, by the way, welcome along. Is your other half left you? Has he gone out? Now he's finished his show. Thanks for joining us, Kate. Hope you are well. I was looking at some of the grounds, and we sort of, our first game tomorrow, when we're doing the watch along for it, is from Old Trafford, and that's great. I think the final itself is going to be at Wembley, whoever that is between. I mean, and I was looking at it, and I don't know whether I was being unfair or not, because I was looking at, one of them is at Wigan and Lee's, some recreation ground or something at Wigan and Lee, and you're thinking like, well, shouldn't it at least be at the Wigan Stadium?
Yeah, there was a lot of kind of controversy about a couple of the venues not being what you would expect at a European Championships. This is not, you know, a kind of qualifying tournament. This is the actual real deal. So yeah, there was a lot of controversy about, like I say, some of the venues, but the fact that they've got Old Trafford, the fact that the final is going to be at Wembley is huge for the women's game in this country. And those games are sold out. They're already sold out. You know, they've been sold out for months and months. So I get it, but I also get it from the FA and UEFA's standpoint of the fact that having half empty grounds is never a good thing. My issue with it is if they put them in decent stadiums, they would have sold them out, because they have done. They've sold out. They've sold out Old Trafford.
Well, no, exactly. It's not exactly the smallest stadium, is it? You know?
No, exactly. And, you know, the success of this team could really be a catalyst. So the more people that get to go and actually experience it, the better.
Yes.
They should have been in proper stadiums. They shouldn't have been in the few venues. But they've just got to go with it now and just play the best they can and show the world what they can do, really.
Now. And, you know, I've found them now. I'm just going down there. I mean, Brighton and Hove, it's at their sort of Premier League ground, which is good.
Yeah.
London, obviously Wembley Stadium. And in fairness, Brentford, you know, I mean, we're talking Premier League, we can't look at Brentford now and go, oh, it's Brentford. They've got a pretty decent stadium now, the community stadium.
For facilities wise, yes, because you have to have when you obviously come up to the Premier League. Size wise, that's obviously not the biggest stadium in London.
No.
It could have been at Stamford Bridge. It could have been at any of those stadiums that are bigger.
Yeah.
But again, the fact that they're in a proper stadium, going to be on TV, it's all adding to what hopefully will be a big push for the women's game.
Yes, yeah. And I know they've got that in Rotherham, they've got the New York Stadium, Sheffield, it's Bramall Lane, Southampton, it's St Mary's. Obviously, we've got Trafford. I think it's the Wigan and Lee one. It's Lee Sports Village, I think, which is the one I was thinking of. But I suppose at the end of the day, if you try and get a ticket and you can't because it's full, I suppose it is creating what's the word I'm looking for? It's creating. I've missed out. I must get booked the next round or something like that.
Yeah, and also, COVID bore it out. There's nothing worse for the players to play in a half-empty stadium.
No,
that's not what they want either. So again, I can understand it. I just wish that they'd backed the tournament more and actually said, no, we know that women's football can sell out these big stadiums. We know we can go to the Stamford Bridge and sell it out. We know we can go to Old Trafford. Because to me, if you can sell out Old Trafford, there's no reason why they couldn't have gone to Stamford Bridge.
Yes.
Or the Emirates and sold out there. And then, like I said, the more people that see the games live, especially for young girls, obviously I'm a girl. When I was growing up, there was no women's football to follow.
No.
We didn't even have a proper structure of leagues. So this is ultimate time for girls in this country to actually get into football and to properly follow these women who should be role models. They're going out playing for their country, and they've had some tough stories in the squad of how they've got there.
So, hi to Jordan. Welcome along. Thanks for coming in, Mike. I didn't realise this, but apparently Lee Sports Village is the Man United women's home ground. So in that case, I kind of get it, Mike. But I mean, there's a lot of people out there saying, it's no football, and what am I going to do during the summer? I say, get along and watch these games, because from what I've seen, like I say, on the telly, on the telly, there's some good football. Like you said before we came live, there may be a little bit of hair pulling, but there's certainly no going to the ground and doing 10 pirouettes and if you
it's a lot more honest in that sense. It's a lot more honest.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that say they don't want that in the men's game. Well, watch the women and have a great time watching.
And I'm going to be honest with you, from what I've seen there's a couple of male games where we've had a female referee. She's done a better job than a lot of the male referees, I'll tell you, in credit to them.
This is the thing, they want to keep the men and women's games separate, but the women's game hasn't been solely women since it started. There's always been men involved in the women's game, whether that's managers, coaches, whatever it be. But the women aren't allowed to officiate a man's game. Well, why? The game's the same. The rules don't change from the women's game to the men's. It's I don't get it.
I'll tell you something as well, and I'm just seeing pictures now live on Sky. Alexia Putellas, is it pronounced? I'm like with names. Spanish player who's had to pull out of the Women's Euros because she's injured. She was hobbling there, so what she's done, I don't know. But she's out of the Euros altogether, so we wish her all the best. Like I say, I have seen a couple. I think we've gone past the one where there was all that fuss with Andy Gray and what have you on the Sky where he was having to go at the linesman. I think we've gone past that now. But what I like was they called the right decisions, and obviously that always helps. But you didn't get all this arguing, and the referee was almost like the men were sort of like, well, what do we do? It's like it's like being told off by the missus at home. I better do what I'm told then.
Yeah, and again, I hate that. That's one of my ultimate pet peeves in football is when your team doesn't get a decision and then you'll just crown around the referee.
Yes,
and it's like I just wish they'd do what rugby do and say the only person allowed to talk to the referee is your captain. Get away.
They introduced that, didn't they?
I'm not entirely sure, but I wish if they have introduced it, they would enforce it. And if they haven't introduced it, I wish they would do. But cause it's just like you're asking a human being to make a split decision at a split moment, then you can't expect him to make the right decision if he's under extra pressure from players who can't just handle that the decision hasn't gone for them, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Now Kane's in. Good evening. How are you, Niall? Mike's looking forward to seeing the Dutch players. And James says the female officials would easily officiate the men's game better than the men, which wouldn't be hard because all the male refs are shite. I mean, I just think, I said, all I can say is, and I can only go on what I've seen, I'm sure it might have been a Leicester game in Europe, you know, and there was a female referee, and I just thought, whatever the game was, I know she had a great game and she was fair, and you know the men, you know, respected her.
It's not that complicated that as women can't get their heads around them. It's not, you know, it's not that hard.
I think she got most of the offside rules right as well. I'm joking. Okay, that was a joke. Before I get loads of hate mail, that was a joke. Right, well, let's have a look. The tournament kicks off tomorrow. The first game is the home. Well, it's at Old Trafford, England versus Austria, and we are going to be doing a watch along for that. So I'm looking forward to it, I must admit. So let's have a look through the groups and the teams that have got there. First of all, like I say, please support 3 Retro. If you do want any, not just Admiral, but they do a lot of club teams: Chelsea, Man City, Leicester City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, all retro shirts and other gear as well, and also national teams. Like I say, I've got these England ones from them, really good quality. Do give them a shout out, www.3retro.com. Okay, so these are the groups. There's some big names in there, and I find it hard. I'm not going to deny this. So when I was looking at this earlier and doing the graphics for it, I couldn't get out my mind when I looked at these teams, and I'm immediately thinking, well, they'll be good because the men's teams are. You know what I mean? And they're like, well, why is that team so far down the FIFA ranking? It obviously is completely different, but there are some. I mean, you've got the top teams. I mean, I think the top team is the Brazilian women, if I'm not mistaken. Which obviously this is the Euros, but apart from that, all the big teams are there.
Yeah, so you've not got the Brazilians. You've also not got the Americans, who are pretty good. You know, their record in World Cups is very, very good. So
it might be the Americans I'm thinking of. Yes, yeah.
But obviously, we wouldn't have those two because they're not in Europe.
Yeah.
When it comes to the big European teams, they are obviously all here. You've got Germany and Spain, 1 or 2 in the rankings, in a group together. So it's going to be very hard for Denmark and Finland. But anything can happen. I do expect Germany to top that group when we get to it. We'll talk a bit more about it. But there's some really good sides. The Netherlands have got a really good side. France are very good. There's probably 6 or 7 teams that going into this tournament realistically thinking they can win it.
I would think so, and we'll come on to that, like you say, when we go through the groups, because we'll start with well, I think let's have a look who comes up first. Group A, obviously, Austria, England, Northern Ireland, and Norway. Let's start with England. It seems a very good place to start. And I say hi to Nippon. Thanks for coming on. And as Mike says there, Brazil, USA, and Canada are class. England, I really got an outside sneaky feeling that they could do well and even probably win it.
I think they've got a really good chance. The squad is full of obviously great players, mix of youth and experience. This was a bit of again, controversy for want of a better word. So Stephen is central defender, and she has been England captain for the last probably 6 or 7 years now. Absolutely solid, plays for Man City, arguably the best player England have. She got injured and has fought her way back to fitness, but hasn't been picked. She's not even in the squad. So there's a bit of woman and ahhing about that. But I still expect England to absolutely win all 3 of these games in this group. There is no reason why they shouldn't. The Ellen White up front, who is going to be the one that hopefully will score the goals to make that happen. She's again been tearing up the SWL for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And just really positive player. You know, tries to get about people. Kind of like a Jamie Vardy kind of player in many ways. Right. But yeah, and just again, no reason they shouldn't win all three of these games. I'd be really surprised and really disappointed if they didn't top this group.
Yeah, it is America that is number one in the world. That's me. I must get out of this habit of thinking Mayo. Brazil are actually below us. They are ninth. But the first game up is against the first team there, which is Austria. Austria, one of the lower teams there, but they're 21st in women's football on the rankings. And let's just have a look at what Austria have been doing with themselves. They qualified as Group G runners-up, and they were the best runners-up in fairness to them. Their top scorer, Nicole Biller, with 7 goals, and their best ever finish was the semi-finals, which was the last, obviously 2017, the last time it was played. Do you see them doing well?
I think it's really hard for Austria because then they're not obviously one of the higher ranked teams, but anything can happen.
Yeah,
I don't see them getting out of this group. I think it will be England, and I think it'll be Norway. I think it will go towards the rankings. Yeah. I think Northern Ireland again, you know, really progressing as a nation. Obviously, putting more money into women's football, which they don't have a lot of to start off with, which is their problem. Obviously, trying to get a kind of a system where they can bring their players through. So yeah, I do think England and Norway will qualify from this group. There'll be some good games though. I think Austria on their day can give anyone a game, so England will have to be careful of it. Yeah. And obviously Ireland, they're kind of just got freedom just to play. You know, if they get beat, that's what's expected. If they win a game or two and they can qualify, that's amazing for them.
We said this yesterday when we were looking at the World Cup group with Dan, and sometimes when you've got a group where there's sort of a strong 2 teams, it almost makes it easier for the other 2 because they're playing without any expectation.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, going into this tournament, they're going to think they can win it. They have to think like that. Every team has to think that they've got a chance of winning it. I just hope if England play as well as they can, they will win all 3 games. But we know with England, especially in tournament football, it doesn't always go that way. So we'll have to see.
It's an 8 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. Is it? I'm not sure what channel it is on. I don't know if anybody knows that. I think it's one of the main channels, if you like. Mike says Northern Ireland are awful, but we're going to do predictions at the end. But Austria, that was actually their first major tournament, the 2017 Euros. And they only lost on penalties, apparently, in the semi-finals to Denmark. So maybe we shouldn't sort of necessarily write them off. But like you say...
I don't think you can write anybody off. Like I say, in tournament football, you've just got to go out there and do it on the day. But if England play the way they can, they will win all 3 of these games. The trickiest one, obviously, is Norway. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Can I just go back to England? Because... I know we've got the current manager that's obviously in there now. Before that, it was Phil Neville. And before that, I forget who it was again, but there's an England manager that had been there for ages that was doing really, really well. And then she stepped down for whatever reason. Phil Neville was never really a success, was he?
No, and I think the appointment was always kind of a weird one for me. Because to me, if someone is coming from the men's side, they've got to have credentials. As far as I'm concerned, Phil didn't have any.
No.
So, do you know what I mean? There is enough men on the women's side. There is enough women on the women's side.
Yes.
To not have to go for Phil Neville.
I'm just checking here. It's on the BBC, apparently. It doesn't say whether it's 1 or 2. I'll have a look into that into more detail. Northern Ireland. It'd be nice to see them go through. They're 47th. They are probably one of the sort of rank outsiders, if we're honest. They qualified as runners-up in Group C, and then they beat Ukraine in the playoff. Top goal scorer for them is Rachel Furness. They've never, obviously, this is the first, not obviously, but it's the first tournament they've qualified for. And they were ranked 32 out of the 48 before qualifying. And they've actually gone down then since then. Now 47. But I say they're just going to go out and play without any sort of fear, haven't they? If they don't qualify, nobody will be surprised, and if they do, it will be great. It'll be a great buzz for them.
Yeah, and it's also like this being their first tournament, it's all experience, and it breeds players wanting to be footballers. You know, little girls wanting to be footballers is a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know, and mums and dads do it all the time. They assume that their daughters are going to go and have a career of some sort of, I don't know, lawyer or doctor, and they think the boys are going to be footballers. Well, now we don't have to think like that. All our kids can be footballers and can make a decent living out of playing football. And that's what, if, Northern Ireland were to qualify, and even if they just win a game, to win their first game, that's going to just help people in Northern Ireland want to be footballers.
Yes, exactly. And it's on BBC One tomorrow. So the BBC are backing it. Obviously, that will be up to, it will annoy a lot of EastEnders fans, but hey ho. Every cloud has a silver lining, as they say. But yeah, it's 8 o'clock, BBC One, starts at 7, or join us from 7:45 here and get a beer, get cozied up, and you can join in the banter. Mike says here, no offence, it is really like if San Marino qualified for the men's Euros. I guess a bit like Newport qualifying for the, get through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, Mike. Banter, Mike, you know that. Norway. Now, these are probably going to be the ones that are our main competitors, I'm guessing, sort of in the group because of their ranking. They are Group C winners. They've won all 6, and they only conceded 1 goal and scored 34 in that. The top scorer is the top scorer, according to the Euro site, is Caroline Graham Hansen with 10 goals. Past winners twice, 87 and 93, so they've got a history there. And the last one, they didn't get out of the group stage, unfortunately. But that they have got that history in there. Winners twice.
Yeah, and when you've qualified like that, you have to have belief in yourself, don't you? That can only breed belief that you can go on and succeed and to have a good tournament. Can they be strong enough to win it? Who knows? Like, anything can happen, and this is why predictions are so hard.
Yes.
Because anything can happen in a tournament. You could get a dodgy penalty, anything, can't it? But yeah, like I say, if England, to me, should top that group.
Well, I think so. Ryan, I'm going to say good evening to Ryan. How the devil are you? Thank you for coming and joining us. Mike, we know Newport beat Leicester in the FA Cup, and that is the highlight of Newport's career, their history. It's the biggest thing they've ever achieved is to beat Leicester in the FA Cup. That was supposed to be for an England flag at the end. Okay, yeah, the flag, for some reason the flags don't work, Ryan. I don't know why. But yeah, Mike says Norway should top the group, and only twice since '87 have Norway not reached at least the semis. 1997 as co-host, actually, and 2017. But I mean, I'm looking at, like I said, I've been watching some of these games. England's played 3 friendlies. And yes, I mean, you look at Norway, played 6, won 6, only conceded 1 goal. scoring 30 odd. I mean, it is really good. We obviously qualified as hosts, so we haven't got a record. But in the friendlies, we've beat Belgium 3-0. I mean, Netherlands, who are the holders and therefore one of the favourites to win it, we beat them 5-1. And we beat Switzerland 4-0. That's not bad for. I mean, England men would be pleased with that going into the World Cup, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and I just feel like there's momentum with England. I kind of don't want to get too involved in it because we've been heartbroken before, and I'm sure we'll be heartbroken again by England at some point.
Oh,
but look at the squad, and it's good. It's a really good squad. They're coming off the back of a good tournament in the last international tournament. They're strengthening. Got a manager who really knows what she's doing. I just feel like this is the time where at least we can get to like the semis or the final itself. Whether we go on to win it or not is always up for debate and how things go. But I really believe in this England squad.
I do. I mean, I know it's only San Marino, but 20-0 versus San Marino, it's the same argument as the men's, isn't it? Why do you play these games? Was that that was World Cup qualifying? Latvia it was. Sorry, Latvia, not Estonia. Latvia we beat 20-0. I bet Harry Kane wishes he was playing in that game,
that's why it's hard as well, Chris, because there is some teams that are not good. So when you put yourself against them, 20-0 sounds amazing, but the standard you're playing against isn't particularly high. So we have to keep some sort of level on it, but they still scored 20 goals. Yeah. They still took the game seriously. They were, you can only beat what's put in front of you. And it's like they didn't stop at 8, they didn't stop at 10, they just kept going and going and going. Yes. They could have stopped at, 10. Yeah. And that would still have been an amazing result. In an international game, can only beat what's in front of you. And like I said, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves on it because there is
no, not at all. Not at all.
To play against, but
yeah. Mike says, just a sidetrack, that they were in Europe, Newport. Nippon says, when was that? And I think the Second World War was 39 to 45, Nippon. So I think that's probably when Newport were in it. Ryan's going to the game tomorrow. Enjoy it, sir. Enjoy it. You'll have to, message me on Twitter, send us and I'll send you the link for the show, and you can come on at half-time and full-time and give us the rundown of how it went. That would be great. Ryan says, I think we have to not get carried away. I do believe in our team, and we've got so much talent. Let's hope we can really help the ladies by making lots of noise in the stadium. Agreed.
Yeah.
It always helps. Obviously, it always helps. James keeps saying, keep hitting the likes and subscribe. Thank you very much. And Ryan says, yes, he'll do that. So thank you, Ryan. That would be good. To have somebody on the ground there. Thank you. Like I said, I just watched them against Netherlands, knowing how good Netherlands were. Of course, I think Netherlands went 1-0 up, but then the 5-1 was good. And like you said, I can remember being at Southampton for the Leicester game where we beat them 9-0, and at half time I said second half will be boring, Sean. I think we were 5-0, weren't we? 5-0 up at half time. I said that's it. They'll just sit back now. And of course, we carried on and we went for the jugular, and it was good. Like you say, England could have stopped at any point and they didn't, As James said there, 100% Ryan, the positive atmosphere can really encourage them. So that's our group, and we'll come on to the actual who's going to go through, though. I think we know who it is, hopefully, next. This is Group B. So in there we've got the aforementioned, this looks a really tough group, to be honest with you. Denmark, Finland, Germany, and Spain. I suppose, if anything, it's almost the proverbial group of death. Denmark at 15, but you got Germany and Spain both in the top 10 ranking. Finland possibly the ones that maybe getting the wooden spoon there. But let's start with Denmark. Let me just get to Denmark. Why have they got them in a different order here? I do not know. They came through as group winners, played 10, won 9, drew 1, again, only conceded 1 goal, and they scored 48. Their top goal scorer was Nadim with 9, Nadia Nadim, and they got runners-up. That was their best performance at the last Euros. They came runners-up, as we saw.
Yeah.
They knocked out Norway in the semis. So 15th, but they've got to be kept an eye on, haven't they?
Indeed, yeah. Again, Denmark are, they're ranked 15th. It's not in, too bad digits. I don't think they're getting out of this group. I think this group will again go to rankings. Germany are the top European nation, according to UEFA. So they've got, obviously, an amazing side. Spain, again, a bit hit and miss, but I would expect them to go through. I'd expect it to go through rankings. The Denmark-Finland game should be an absolute cracker because they don't particularly like each other. Right. So that should be a little tasty game to watch. And I think the winner of that will end up third, and then whoever loses it will end up.
I mean, talking of Finland, and I always like to see the I suppose it's being a Leicester fan, but I always do like to see the underdogs cause an upset. Even if the men's are not.
Yeah, I would love nothing more if Finland beat Germany, but I don't see it happening.
No, but you've got Finland played 8. They qualified as Group E winners up. Group E winners up. What am I saying? My teeth that are going wrong now. Group E winners, playing 8, won 7, drawn 1, 24 scored, 2 conceded. They didn't qualify for the last ones, but they did actually get to some semi-finals in 2005 in their first major appearance by the male or female. But like you say, I think they kind of are really sort of there to make the numbers up, aren't they?
Yeah, especially in this group. This group is not the one you wanted to be in, really, with Germany and Spain. Anything can happen on the day. I don't want to rule out any team too much because anything can happen on the day. It's football.
Yes, yeah.
I don't see. I see Finland finishing bottom of this group.
Yes, indeed, I do as well. Melina, welcome along. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm actually trying to get a Arsenal fan to come on and talk to me about Tielemans. Lee, somebody from AFTV, I'm trying to get him on. He's talking to me about it. Ryan, at the end when we do the predictions, you'll be able to see where we come and who we will play, etc. On that, it is sorted out. Then you've got Germany, Group B winners, played 10, won 9, drew 1, 48. All these teams are smacking the goals in. 48 for 1 against. Oh no, that's Denmark. What am I doing? I've already done them. I was looking for Germany, wasn't I? Yeah, here we go. Group I winners, played 8, won 8. 46 for 1 against. 6 goals from the top scorer, Buell. They've won it 8 times. Wow. 89, 91, 95, 97, 2001, 5, 9 and 13. Last time out in the quarterfinals in 2017. We might as well pack up and go home, mightn't we?
Yeah. Again, just very strong on both sides of the game, aren't they? But
yeah,
again, just German efficiency is something that cannot just be denied. Like the record they have, they're going to want to keep that record up. Anything but not winning this tournament would be a absolute disaster for Germany because they are the highest ranked European team. They feel they should win this tournament, and on rankings they should, but again, it doesn't happen on rankings, does it? So
no,
they've got to go out and win the games, but they've got the talent to do that as well. So
indeed, and then we're going to get to Spain. They were Group D winners, played 8, won 7, drew 1, 48 goals for, 1 conceded. What is it? I mean, has everybody got really sort of bad teams in the group? Jennifer Hermoso, top scorer with 10. Semi-finals was the best. Quarterfinals last time. It's going to be, it is almost like you say, group of death, isn't it?
Yeah, like I say, I don't see anything other than Germany and Spain going through. In which order? I gotta say Germany are gonna top it, but again, you never know. All it takes is one result for Denmark or Finland, and it's gonna change everything. But yeah, I don't think they've got the squads to compete with Germany and Spain.
No, not at all. And talking about World Cups, just to sort of sidetrack for a minute, just to confirm. Oh, and we've got Rich in as well from Rich Sports, a big Man United fan. He says he's got no idea who's winning this. But I'll tell you something, we're going to be asking who's going to be winning the World Cup next Wednesday, the 13th at 7 o'clock. I have got Rodri Giggs coming on the channel, and he's going to be talking Salford, Manchester United and Wales in the World Cup. So Rodri Giggs next Wednesday at 7 p.m. He's literally just confirmed it now. That was my phone pinging earlier. So looking forward to getting him on and chatting to him about everything apart from the obvious. Then we go on to Group C. Netherlands, Portugal, Sweden and Switzerland. Looking at this, I mean, Netherlands are the holders, the fourth, Sweden second. So again, are we looking at those two being the top two?
Again, yes. You've got to look at it as the Netherlands and Sweden going through in one way or the other. And it's so difficult because these teams that are in these groups with the best sides got nothing to lose. Like, it's not the group you would want to be in. But at the same time, just go out and play. That's all you can do. That's all you can do against these teams and hope for a result. I don't see them getting enough to get out of the group, but there could be an upset somewhere along the line. We'll just have to see.
Well, Netherlands, like we say, they are fourth. So not fourth. They are ranked fourth in the world. They are the holders. Played 10, won 10, can you believe, scored 48. The top scorer, Sherida Spitze, I think it's pronounced, with 10. They won it last time out in 2017. That was their best, obviously, appearance. The Dutch have never contested a major final until 2017 when they triumphed on home soil, and subsequently they were runners-up to the United States at the 2019 Winners' World Cup, both under Wiegman, who's now been replaced by Mark Parsons. So a tough one. That are they gonna retain it?
I want to say no. I don't think they will. I think. I don't know who's going to win. I really think England have got a genuine chance, but they're going to come up against Germany, I believe, at some point. Would that be quarter? Obviously, it depends on where they both finish in their groups, doesn't it? But
yes,
I think it's going to be really tough for whoever wins it. But I think Germany are going to win it.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
Right, well, Portugal, they were Group E runners-up, played 8, won 6, drawn 1, lost 1, and they qualified, beat in the playoff versus Russia. I think Russia won, but obviously with everything that's gone on, they've been booted out, so Portugal have got their place. They only scored 10. Right. That's not in, like, you know, scoring for fun. So 10 goals. I mean, again, we've seen it with Greece in the Euros. We saw it, I think, one season with somebody in the World Cup where they're not expected to do well. They brought in at the last minute because of, like with Greece, it was, you know, Yugoslavia, I think, and the war that was going on there. Absolutely no pressure on them whatsoever. Certainly with the Greek one, they had to get the players back off the holidays. Remember Theo Zacharakis?
I do.
Yeah, he was part of that squad.
He was captain, wasn't he?
He might well have been. Yes, he might well. I liked him. I was so pleased when he signed for us. He actually wanted it to come to us, which was always nice to see. But so I mean, in a way, Portugal could surprise everybody and just go again. You know, just cruise through. Unlikely, it could happen.
Yeah, unlikely, but it could. Anything could happen, and that's why we love tournament football, isn't it? It's why we
Yeah.
love the FA Cup. It's why we love the World Cup. It's like why we love the Euros. No different on the women's side to the men's. That things can happen, but you wouldn't bet on it.
No. And then we are looking at Sweden. They qualified as Group F winners, playing 8, winning 7, and drawing 1. We're back to it. 40 goals scored. Anne Avangard was the biggest scorer with 5. They won it in 1984, and they got through to the quarterfinals last time out. An outside bet, do you think?
Yeah, very much so. Again, a good history. They've won the tournament before. They've got a high ranking. There's no reason to say that they wouldn't. That there isn't a chance that they can't win it. None of these teams, I feel, are like so far out that they've got no chance whatsoever.
No.
But again, you wouldn't back against Sweden.
No. I mean, second in the world, they've got to be taken seriously. Switzerland here, higher than Portugal. They Group H runners up, playing 8, winning 6, drawn 1, lost 1, 20 goals. A mere 20 goals. Switzerland, what were you doing? Come on, only scoring 20 and letting 6 in. Honestly, you're rubbish. You're rubbish. But as runners up, they had a playoff against the Czech Republic, which they won on penalties. I'm not even going to attempt to announce the top scorer for Switzerland. It's Anna Marie. And I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but yeah. So, no way am I. No, I'm not even attempting that. And the best really is the group stage. They won the first penalty shootout anyway for Women's Euro playoff to qualify for the second time, but they are serial group stage leavers. And I'm probably going to say we're probably looking at the same here, aren't we?
Yeah. It's really difficult because I don't want this to sound like this tournament doesn't start till the quarterfinals. No, that everything's set in stone, because it's not. It's never the case. There is always upsets. But I wouldn't expect them to qualify out of this group.
No.
But they could always do us a favour and knock one of either Sweden or Netherlands out of it.
That would be nice. That would be. We said like Netherlands have just played us. I don't know if you saw it at all, but were you surprised by the result?
No, because friendlies are always a bit. What's the word? I think the underdog team, which would have been England, play better, and the Netherlands, being the better team, may not have put as much effort into it. Players obviously are not wanting to get injured this near to the tournament, but that goes for both sides.
Yeah.
So I think it is difficult to kind of judge it on a friendly. But yeah, it's a great result and it's got to give England confidence, but I don't think it will bother the Netherlands that they didn't win that game.
No. And I think we've got to again think we all went a bit mad at England. And they were awful, let's face it, in the Nations Leagues. But, if we win, the World Cup, that'll all be forgotten, won't it?
Yeah,
we've got to think.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Germany do it all the time. They don't always have the best qualification.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the tournament, you can't back against them. So, yeah.
No, not at all. And they do some teams do starting slowly and building up, and Germany seem to be experts at doing that.
Yeah.
Group D, we've got Belgium, France, Iceland, and Italy. Oh, please don't let us draw Iceland again. Now, this, to be honest with you, is when I looked at it, and we can only go on world rankings, but if you look at the world rankings, this is probably France will probably go, just book us into the next round, book the hotel now. They're third, but the other ones are Italy 14th, Iceland 17, and Belgium 19 world ranking. You've got to look at that and go, just go through France.
Yeah. Again, anything can happen, and that Belgium-France game will obviously be, again, a good one. being neighbours. But I would expect France easily to top this group. But Belgium are going to want to beat them.
Yeah.
They're going to be the sitting ducks for those three other teams. And those other teams, the result against France isn't the one that's going to matter, essentially. It's the results between the three that are left that are going to matter the most for who finishes in that probably second
I think they're
spot.
playing for second, aren't they? You know.
Yeah, a little bit. But again, it's a free hit then, isn't it? That France game is a free hit. Just go and play. Try and just relax and play the best you can.
And quite often, you know, like we said earlier, that when there's no pressure on you, then that's when you do well, you know.
Yeah.
Especially if France have had a cock up somewhere along the road.
Again, France. I think I would bet on France qualifying.
Yes.
From this group, whether that's the second place or first, because I don't think they're going to lose 2 games.
Yes. Yeah.
I think they're going to probably win all 3, to be honest. But
yeah, well, they went through as Group G winners, playing 8 and winning 7, drawing 1. 44 goals scored, obviously. We know it's going to be high again. Their top scorer, Eugene Le Sommer, at 7, who I think Mike just said then is one to watch. James says France to go through without a doubt. The best and also their last appearance is the quarterfinals. Since an 18 women's Euro was introduced in '97, France have gone out in the last 8 every time. And then after the tournament expansion to the first 12 and then 16 teams, quarterfinals, 9, 13 and 17. Italy qualified as Group B runners-up, played 10, won 8 and drew 1, lost 1, scoring 37. Their top scorer is Girelli with 8. Runners-up in 93-97 group stage in 17. Belgium were winners of Group H, playing 8, scoring 37, winning 7 of them and drawing 1. Team de Cagny with 12 is their top scorer, but they've never done any better than the group stage, including the last time out. And then Iceland, Group F runners-up, and they were actually, in fairness to Iceland, they were the best runners-up. And they went through as the best runners-up. They played 8, won 6, drew 1, lost 1. They only got 25 goals. Again, Iceland, what are you doing? You shouldn't be here. Elin Mette Jensen with 6 was the highest scorer. Quarterfinals was their best ever. And they got to the group stage last time out. So, and when they qualified in 2009, it was the first time that any Icelandic national team had qualified for a tournament. What a shame it wasn't the last one. And Ryan says here, a big shout out. Did anyone watch Inside the Pride documentary on the Lionesses YouTube? It was brilliant. I'll give that a watch later, Ryan. I will give that a watch, actually, especially with the show we've got coming up on Friday. Yep, that is it. So, Lou, it's time for you to put your neck on the block. I'm not going to say that, you know, you'll be reminded of this, but I will be photocopying this.
You're not going to say, but I will be.
So you've got, it's downhill really, but so we'll go back to Group A. And who do you see? We did say England, didn't we, really, on this?
Yes, I think it's so difficult because Norway are strong, but I really think England are going to top that group.
They will top that. And then, of course, I think you from what you've just said, then Norway second. Yeah. Third and fourth, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but who do you think will be third? Austria, I would be guessing.
Yeah, I think Northern Ireland will finish bottom.
Northern Ireland bottom. Although it would be nice to see Northern Ireland, obviously.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope they finish second and qualify with us, but
yes, yeah,
that's how I see it going.
See that. So Group B, which we said was probably the group of death here. Who do you see in Group B topping it?
I
know.
think you can't.
I'm not even going to say anything.
I don't ever want to back the Germans, but I feel like that is the right thing to do.
Right.
I think that's.
Yep.
If this is going to come back and haunt me, then I need to pick on my head, not my heart.
No, go with your head. Go with your head.
Got to go with my head.
Go with your head.
And then Spain, Denmark, and Finland. I think that's how it'll be.
So Germany top, Spain second, Denmark and Finland. Okay.
Yeah.
Group C.
This one's really, really tough as well.
Hmm.
Do you know what? I'm going to go Sweden. Top.
Yeah.
Netherlands.
I can see that, I mean, looking at form, they are the better ones, but like I say, Netherlands are the holders. I would imagine you've got Netherlands going through in second.
Yes.
Yeah.
My theory on that is that teams don't tend to win back-to-back tournaments.
No, that is true.
So,
Unless
I mean, they're still going to go through regardless. Yeah, wow. Let's talk about that.
Portugal or Switzerland? I'd love to see Portugal bottom. I know it's the women, but I still would love to see Portugal bottom.
I'm actually going to go for Portugal third. Let's have an upset.
Yeah, no, there we go. Portugal third and Switzerland fourth. They should really have an extra space where the best third place goes through, shouldn't they? Just to add some excitement to it.
Yeah, indeed.
And then Group D, I think I know where you're going with the first one.
Yeah, France, I think, are going to top. Well, we're pretty sure France is going to top this group.
Yeah, but then
really difficult.
Yes, I'm going to say that I wouldn't like to be you now. Then
I'm going to go Italy.
You're going to go Italy to go through. Okay.
Yeah. Then Iceland. No, Belgium, Iceland.
Belgium and Iceland. Good. Let's get our own back on Iceland.
Out of all of the groups, that's the one I'm least confident on.
It is. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Hard.
I must admit, I do agree. I think that France, I've got to say, on form, on paper, they're going to walk it, but it could be any one of the next three that go through. Like you say, it all depends if any of them actually manage to get anything off France, really, and that could be the difference. Because you can see France winning at least. You think two of them, and maybe a third one is maybe where they get a draw and drop a point.
I mean, if they win two and they've already qualified, they could make changes in that third game.
Yes,
and then lose it because they made the changes. But even France's second string, I would expect to beat those three teams, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Ryan says nice selections. Mike's gone Norway, England, Austria, Northern Ireland. That's only because he's Welsh. Gee, there.
I mean, to be fair, he's probably going to be right. I mean, it would not surprise me if Norway topped that group, but I have to back England. I can't.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you can never rely on England to do anything, can you?
No.
Then he went Germany, Spain, Denmark, Finland. So I think was agreeing with you. And then Sweden, Holland, Portugal, Switzerland. I think, was that agreeing with you as well?
Yeah.
So yes, it was. And then they said France, Italy, Belgium, Iceland, which, again, agreed with you. He's learning, Mike, never argue with a woman.
You can argue, but you'll always be wrong.
Now, if this is correct, if this is how it ends up, Louise.
If I get all those places right, I will be incredibly surprised. Surprised if I get them all right.
But this is how it will pan out. England would face Spain. God, the Germans, look at all those stars. I hate them. The Germans will take on Norway. Sweden will take on Sweden, or Scandinavian then. Sweden will take on Italy, and France will take on the Netherlands. I don't know how we. Oh yeah, we can choose the winners like this. Let's just do the whole tournament, shall we? Let's have a bit of fun.
Okay.
Let's have a bit of fun. England versus Spain. Yes.
Oh,
FIFA. I mean, it's a tough one. That FIFA ranked number 7.
I have to believe. If I'm telling other people to believe, I've got to believe myself. I'm back in England.
They're going for England. Okay.
Mhm.
Germany, Norway. Germany 5th, like we said. Norway.
That would be a cracking game if it happens.
Yeah.
Again, can I just not back Germany? Like, can I really say that Norway are going to beat Germany?
I have a sneaky feeling they will.
And it's a game of football and anything can happen, can't it? But
It is, yeah. That's the game of the quarterfinals, isn't it, really?
if it ends up the way I've said it's going to end up, yes.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yes,
This is
course,
only
yeah.
this is not set in stone by any stretch, but you know what? I have to back Germany.
You're going for Germany? Wow.
Yeah.
I would have gone Norway. I've got to be honest with you. I've just got a funny, sneaky feeling for Norway, but there we go. So that's going to be Germany through, which could be, I think, I don't know, but I think might be setting up a good semi. Sweden, Italy.
I'd have to back Sweden.
I'm going to say, I think I don't disagree with you there. They look like they should be too strong. And then France, 3rd against the Netherlands. Well, this could be a cracking one as well if it happens.
Why have I made this so hard for myself?
Because you didn't know you got this round coming up.
No, I didn't know we were going down this far. I have to say France.
Yeah, for France. Wow, so knocking the holders out. So that means oh no. Oh, I thought we were going to get Germany in the semi-finals, but we are going to get Sweden. Yeah, you have made it hard for us, haven't you? I mean, the men's World Cup is hard because we could end up playing Holland if depending how groups finish there, but you're just making this doubly hard.
I know. Can they get to the final against Sweden? Could they do that? Yes, they could do that. Will they do that if this happens? Oh, why have I done this to myself? I have to back England.
I mean, we've got home advantage, haven't we? We have got home advantage.
I have to back them.
Yeah. So you're going for England and Sweden. What did we say there? The form was like they never got past. Oh no, they won it in '84, but that was ages ago. That was a different generation, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was bored.
Yeah, they only got. Oh, thank you. I'll get my pension now. They only got to the quarterfinals last time, so you've got them going one better. Now Germany, France, and to be honest with you, I haven't got a horse in this race because I hate them both as countries. Brexit was the best thing we ever did.
I'm going to go France.
France, okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to go France
against Germany. What am I doing?
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
Your mind now. So there we go. The final at Wembley, if you are correct, is England versus France.
God, do I go with my head or my heart? What do I do?
Well, let's have a
go
look
with my heart. I'm going to go England.
Yeah, France. Let's have a look. That's Iceland. I thought that's not be good. I'm looking at Iceland. Again, not got past the quarterfinals.
Neither have we, though, have we?
I don't know. But, well, actually, does it go through England?
To be honest, if I get this right and this is the final, I would be very happy. Because if England get to the final, I'll be ecstatically happy for them.
We have not got to a final before. Yes, we have. 1984 and 2009, we were runners-up. And in the last one under Philip, we were semi-finalists.
So there we go then. We've only got to go one better.
Yeah. So there we go. 32% of players also predicted England to win.
Wow.
So it was not even as tight as Brexit there, Louise.
32% is not very high. People obviously don't agree with me.
Yeah, 32% did it in the pub. Yeah, Mike said before, if he's wrong, he's going to blame you. He's got England to beat Spain, Germany to beat Norway, Sweden to beat Italy, and Holland. No, that's a good game. 2-3, Holland to beat France. And then England will lose to Sweden, and Germany will beat Holland. So he's gone completely to the. You absolute Welshman, Mike. That's the only reason.
The thing is, he could be right. He could quite easily be right, and that's why this tournament is going to be so good. Because when we get past that group stage, I mean, there's a few groups that are kind of interesting for who finishes either in that second place. But after we get past that group stage, it's all going to be fire from there. From that quarterfinal onwards, there's going to be every game is going to be well worth the watch.
Same English every year here, Chris. We're going to win. Proceeds to lose at quarterfinals. Only banter. Yeah, it is just banter, but enjoy your,
At least we get to the tournament.
Well, I was going to say, yes, we don't have to wait 58 years, do we? It's 58 years until we win it, but we're not 58 years until we have to wait to get in the final. Again, banter, Mike, banter. Ryan says, "Ooh, I would love that final with France," and he agrees with you. He'd back England as well. So there we go. Louise, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let me get rid of all those lines. I should always do that first, and I always forget. Yeah. There we go. Big up, Chris. F it, we're winning it. It's coming home. Well, if it's not coming home, they can't even leave it with the neighbours, can they? They've got no neighbours in there, Scotland and Wales. You'll see your qualifying groups. yeah, we'll see. Anthony, Lee, what's he called? Lee Judges. What's he like? I've invited him on the show. He might be coming on the show to talk Tielemans to Arsenal. So there you go. James says, not impossible, but we'll see what happens. Looking forward to the tournament tomorrow. Indeed. Look forward to coming on, James, and everybody to see me and Lou, hopefully cheering on an England win with our watch along.
Yep.
It could, and it's on BBC One, so hopefully we won't be too far apart with the old timing, Ryan said, great stream. Thank you very much, young man. Louise, thank you so much for that. You seem to feel better. I know you're not been so well, so I hope you are feeling better.
Just really, when I'm pinching my nose, I'm sneezing, guys. I'm just a bit. I've not got COVID in there. I'm just bunged up.
You can't transmit that over the screen, can you? I think.
No, I did do a test though because I was feeling really rough and I was worried I had, but I haven't. So
to be honest with you, it's going up again, so I don't blame you testing. Actually,
Yeah, and one of my friends had it, and I was with her before she knew she'd got it, so that's what was extra worry. But like I said, I did 2 tests and they both came back negative, so it's all good.
Mike says Lee Judges best of a shit channel. AFTV. Yeah, see him on stream, being on Stephen's stream too. Nice guy. He seems to be. I will see you tomorrow at 7:45, Louise. Thank you very much for that.
Bye.
And I'm just going to go out now and put a tenner on your predictions, so you better be perfect. Oh dear. Anyway, thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow at 7:45.
All right, bye then.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, thanks very much to Louise there. Yeah, everybody, if you do put a tenner on based on her predictions, no responsibility. And remember, if you do have a gamble, stop when the fun stops. Stop. That's what I'm trying to say. Ryan says, I like your retro England shirt, Chris. Thank you very much, Ryan. James, cheers, Chris and Louise. if you do like this shirt, then I'll tell you where you can get them from, and they are not bad prices either. Let me tell you that. 3 Retro, they are sponsoring our Women's Euros coverage. So 3retro.com. It's your one-stop retro shirts and vintage football clothing store online, and they will ship worldwide. So that's even to Wales, Mike. They do national teams, and they do. Leicester's one of the teams that they do. I think they do Man City as well. Quite a few of the big teams. And I thank you for joining us. Please support our sponsors. They're all listed below. If you forget where they are on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching, and if you've been listening, thank you very much for lending me your ears. We really do appreciate you giving the time up to hear us natter on about football. And don't forget, we've got so much coming up. Next show is tomorrow at 7:45. Just there's a couple more comments coming in. Man City retro shirt, that will be last season's. How much for the trophy? You couldn't afford it, mate. You could not afford it, Anthony. I mean, I'm saying I'm losing the Arsenal, you know. By the time you get to win it, it will be given to somebody because they've won it so often. Great show, says Mike. Thank you very much. And don't forget, as well as 7:45 tomorrow for the watch along, England versus Austria. I am really, really looking forward to this tournament. And next Wednesday, 7 o'clock, hopefully, Rodri Giggs. Rodri Giggs is coming on the channel, talking Salford, Man United, and Wales in the World Cup, but not talking about the obvious. Guys, thank you so much. I'm going to go now and have a drink because I am losing my voice slowly here. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. And do whatever you do, please take care. And as I always say, don't do anything I wouldn't enjoy. Thanks so much. Good night. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Cool. I'm out of here. Ooh, that's a wrap.